Hello everyone, it's Marcia again with another journal I wanted to share with you guys. This is another one made from an old book cover, which I have taken the pages out of and refilled. I have really been into these hardcover books lately. For those of you who are wondering, don't worry, I do have more soft covers in mind that I'm going to be working on. So if you're wanting one of those, I will be making more eventually. But, you know, I gotta go where the art takes me. So this is what I've been doing lately. This is titled Somewhere in France. So, as you can probably imagine, it has a French theme. There's no story that goes with it, just French elements and pretty papers. So, just tied around it to hold it closed is some like lace seam binding, which I have colored and inked to really just to make it match this beautiful like gray-green kind of color, and it made it look more aged as well. I did put some gold gilding wax along the edges, like so. I left the cover as is. I added a bit of ink as well, just to grunge it up a bit. As you can see, this one also has the fabric running along the entire cover on the interior, which reinforces the spine. The spine I left as is. It still shows the title and the author. It has the stitches, or the signatures stitched directly to the spine. I did some gilding wax on there as well. There's the back, just a little ink and some gilding wax. As we go in, there are these rose patterned end pages, which I did some coloring on as well to kind of get that gray-green color to match. And as you can see, there's the fabric that runs throughout, or along the entire cover. There's a pocket here on the front. This is a vintage French postcard that came in a booklet of postcards. I love that street view there. Some lace, some little bit of collage here with some papers. This was a book page. It was from a French literature book, and this was like at the back of the book, you know, it has the words, I suddenly can't remember what that's called, but like vocabulary words for the book. There we go. A bit of masking tape down here, and there's lots of stitching in this book, and you can see there are strings left along. There are laces on the edges of the papers, as well as charms hanging over, and I'll show you those in more detail as we go along. Here is pinned on this seam binding a beaded charm. There are French book pages. Well, this one is English, but it's about French painting, or painters, I should say. Some lace, and I did some coffee dyed paper on here for a place to write, so there's lots of room to write. This was a French, I believe this one was the literature book, and I reinforced the pages with fabric so that they are strong enough to stay in the spine when they're stitched in. I did some script stamping throughout on just a few pages here and there. A pocket here with a bit of a collage, some more French script. This is a French postcard that I printed and colored the back and inked it. Some fabric and a bit of lace here that makes a little tab. Some more fabric, a printable of a French image here on some book page. Ledger papers, a bit of tea bag paper, and some lace. This is the other side of that French painting book. It has to do with French painters, and it shows some of the beautiful artwork that they did. Excuse me. There's a little fabric flip here with some lace on it, and I put a bit of gesso on it just to kind of mute the colors, as well as some ink, and I did gesso on the page and ink as well. The pages are really grunged up. I added ink to all of them, as well as they're being coffee dyed. There's a little collage here with a little butterfly and some more of those French vocabulary words, and a place to journal. So a pocket which has a piece of vintage wallpaper. I love these greens. some seam binding, and I also did some, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but there's some gold gilding along there as well. This makes a little tuck spot with like a French receipt, which I printed out and aged. Tucked in there. I splattered some of my, the dye that I was using to color the things for the journal. I just splattered some on there to kind of give the look of spilt ink. A little fabric collage here, which makes a little tab. An image from a book page, and some more seam binding, as well as some lace. A paper clip here with some bead and charm. It's a vintage postcard from France, and it has a letter on the back, or a note, I should say. A French map, which I printed out from Graphics Fairy. Dyed paper, some laces, and a bit of paper, some floral paper here, which makes a little tuck spot, and a couple little journaling cards here. Tucks behind. A bit of toile fabric, this lady dancing, which I inked up. That flips open. A vintage calling card, which is printed out on this book page. This is just a bit from the a book page with the French writing, French text, I should say, on it, and made it so you could journal in the back of it. A pocket here with an image of Notre Dame from from a different angle than what I was used to, anyways, from the river, and it shows the boats here on the shore, and some what is this called? Tracing paper, which is inked, and some seam binding. Vintage image of some butterflies printed out, like a journaling card. Bit of collage here, which makes a tuck, and a printed vintage postcard. And some more just masking tape and lace. This is some tracing paper, which I did some stamping on, and did tissue paper and tea bag paper, and another image, a sketch of Notre Dame. Book page, Somewhere in France, which was from the original book, which is in English, but the title, of course, is Somewhere in France. Some more script stamping, a charm on this paper clip here, and this opens up for journaling and has a vintage postcard. I have to remember what I'm trying to say. Put all that back together. Some collage here, some fabric and cheesecloth, a little bit of that faux vintage cellophane tape. A very rusty paper clip here holding on this envelope, which is made from a book page, the rose window in Notre Dame, and a journaling page here in that. Bit of fabric and lace, this little blue flower on the book page. Another postcard here on this, clipped in with this, with the key charm on that one. This one has writing and the year 1928. This one. I think that's the only one that actually has like the date on it. Some of them, majority of them are blank on the back, but they are originals, except for the ones that I mentioned were printed. So yeah, anyways, there's a mix of original ephemera as well as printed. Like this one is printed. Receipt, French receipt, little collage here. A French lady just from some scrapbook paper, some lace on the edge, some more of that splattering. Little collage here with some fabric and seam binding. More of that French painting book page. Collage here with an image printed from Graphics Fairy, and the book page. This was also printed from Graphics Fairy. Pocket here, another printed image, and a book. This is from a book page, and I put some coffee dyed paper on the back so you could journal on that. Another part of that scene of Paris. And some laces and a pin on here with this crystal charm on there. Some faux tape, faux sellotape. Another painting. And a little collage here with some of that tape. This is an end page from a book, so this is like an original, little bit of original text that was on the inside of the book. And another one of those beautiful postcards. And the backside matches the front end pages. The rose pattern. And measurements on this one is, let's say 5 1/4 by 7 1/2 approximately. It's not exact, so almost 5 by 7. And other details like how many pages and things like that will be in the description below. Well, will be in the link to my Etsy shop in the description below. So if you're interested, you can go check that out. Thanks everyone for the likes and comments. I do appreciate that. And thanks for watching.